Hi everyone, it's Sherry from Turquoise Dreaming. Hope you're all doing good tonight. I wanted to come by tonight and just share some things I've been working on this week. Quite a few goodies here I have to share with you. I found this right here. Let me put this over here for a second. I was going to show you these book plates. I bought an old book and this book plate was in there and it just was loose and fell out, and this is not the actual book plate, this is copies. So that's what I did with it. Since I only had one, I didn't want to just use it and then not have any more. So I copied it on paper. This is the paper copy, and I copied it on file folder. And I cut the file folder to go, like 8.5 by 11 size or a little smaller, to go through a small copier. And it did go through my copier. I'm not saying it would go through all copiers, but it did go through my copier with no problem. And so what I did was distress the paper and glue that onto file folder. So these are like journaling cards, or they can be put in the front of a book or used as a pocket. And both can be used the same way, of course, but I do like both of them. And this is the Manilla folder. You can see the background is less white, so you could age the white on here too. I just left the aging around the borders. So I think those came out really cute, and I really like those, and I'm so glad I found that in that book, because it's really I don't know how old it was, but it did look a little bit old. So really cute picture on there of, it's a picture of kids laying in the grass reading books, so really cute. So that's one thing I worked on this week, and that's an idea you can use if you have one of something and it doesn't have a copyright. Just copy it and make yourself some more. And let's see, I made some coffee dyed paper. I found some free printables on Pinterest and made some coffee dyed paper of just some, like, these are receipts, and this one actually has writing on it. And then let's see, so I did copy the receipts and copy dye those, and I did rip around the edges like I showed in my video last week. You just rip around the edges. If you need to see how to do that, just look at that video from last week where I showed what I was working on last week. And so yeah, I just did some receipts. These have writing on them. These do not have writing on them, and they have the blue and red lines, which I thought was really cool, and the coffee dyeing came out really nice. And I think I showed it a couple weeks ago, the type of coffee dyeing I was doing, spraying, which I still do with my little spray bottles. But I tried a new way of coffee dyeing, and if you haven't tried it, you might want to give it a try, and it's very simple. And I've never baked any of my papers because I'm afraid of starting a fire, so I don't bake my papers. But what I do was I've used a spray, I've used sponges, I've dipped them in a pan, and then take them out and put them on the counter, with some protection on my counter. But I put them on the counter to dry. And but what I did with these, I watched a video that let's see, it's Wendy from Wendy's Journal Adventures, and she showed how she used a paintbrush. So what I did was, and I don't have it in here right now, but just the little foam brushes you buy, and you can do so many things with them. You can paint with them, you can distress with them. Anyway, I had a wide one about like this, and so it's kind of like paintbrush size. So one of those foam brushes, and I just used the foam brush instead of a paintbrush, and that's how I did all of these. And you can spread it over with the foam brush on one side. It goes through to both sides. In fact, I think what I did was I turned them over like this. I spread it over the back with the foam brush, and then if I felt like it didn't have enough on there, the foam brush kind of holds some of the liquid in there a little bit. So I kind of dabbed it on and just made sure I had enough coffee on there before I was done to let it, you know, leave it alone and let it dry. So that's how I did all of these, and I think they came out really pretty. You can see all the different variations of color. So, you know, that's just, they look awesome and old, and I can't wait to use them in my journals. So worked on that this week. And then, let's see, what else? I just, you know, I'm always trying to figure out ways to use up my scraps, and I've made these little pockets before, but I made a few little pockets this week, and I wanted to show that you could make them any size. You know, just take your scrap and make yourself some little pockets. Cut them out, fold them up, and make yourself some flaps. This one has the flaps on the outside, and these have the flaps on the inside. And then you can, you know, glue these in. Use them as tip-ins or little corner pockets, or just paper clip them onto your pages in your journal. But you know, you just put little pieces of ephemera in them. This one I made a little tag for it. I might decorate the tag some more later, or I might not. I might just leave it for the person who gets it to decorate. But anyway, just sewed a little lace tab on it and made little finger holes with my circle punch and all of these, and just, you know, it fits real nice in there. And you know, you have the finger hole for your, you can get it out easily, and you know, if you put a tab on there, that's also kind of fun to pull it out with that. So I'm going to be I need to make some more of those, because my scrap pile is getting a little bit larger after this week, so I will be working on more of those. And let's see, I worked on some more before I get into the time cards. I worked on some more button cards. Sewed all of these this week. This one, I used a lot of different colors of, like, different shades of light buttons on these. And that one has light buttons. This one I put red buttons on. They're two different red buttons, but they are red buttons. I thought that came out really cute. This one has different colors of blue and kind of blacks on there, and I did put a word on this one because this one didn't have any words on it. Like these have words on them already. It came like that, so didn't feel like I needed to add any words on there, but I did add the word inspire on this one. So I think those came out really cute. They're all sewn on like I showed last week. All the buttons are sewn individually. And then I wanted to try a playing card. So this is a vintage playing card, and it is, I didn't know if I would have a problem getting the needle through, so I wanted to try it. So I tried it, and I did not have any trouble getting the button through on this one. And actually, I think the feel of it, I think the newer ones are kind of a heavier plastic, and the vintage ones are more of a papery feel, not so much plasticky feel. So that's just, I haven't tried it on a newer one yet, and I probably won't, because I really like how they look. The buttons look on a vintage journaling card, but if you try it on a newer one, you might have to use a thimble to get the thread through if you sew them on. So just heads up on that. And then, so after I sewed these on, I liked how the different colors looked on this one. And then I put some coffee dye paper on the back, because it, you know, it was a playing card, and it was a whatever hearts of 9 of hearts or whatever. And so, you know, it's not that you have to cover that up, but I just thought it would be cool to actually kind of make it into a journaling card. So I put coffee dye paper on the back of that one. So I think that came out really cute. Another thing, something I hadn't tried before that I tried this week. Let's see. I did watch, it's Susie at Creative Cafe. She made some winged people for her journals, and I believe she was putting them on the covers. And I don't know what I'm going to do with mine yet, but I wanted to try that. So I made, and I kind of just did a simpler version, because she was using them in a certain way on her journals. And so I just wanted to try the, you know, I just loved the way they looked, the winged, you know, that's just fun. Put wings on people. You know, it's just something fun to do. So I tried it, and this is all my little version of, a simpler version of just putting wings on some of my Tim Holtz people. And these were all butterflies from another Tim Holtz ephemera pack. And what I did was just, she cut the white off, which I cut a little bit of white off some of these because some of them had a thicker little bit of white in between the wings right here. So if they had too much white in there or too much extra paper, I cut that off. And on some of them, like this one, I cut the antenna off. So, but some of them I didn't because there was plenty of room, or some of them didn't have antenna. And then some of them, there was room for the antenna. Let me see if there's one with antenna still on. This one still has the antenna on because it was just in the back of the head, so I didn't feel like I needed to cut it off. But I think they came out really cute. I did distress around all the edges so that I wouldn't really have any white, you know. And if you look at the Tim Holtz ephemera, the edges, you know, do make them look newer because they are new. So I wanted them to have a more vintage look, even though they are vintagey looking. I didn't want the edges to look so new, so I distressed around all the edges of the butterfly and the people, and then I just glued the I used Fabri-Tac, because I wanted to make sure they were on there good in case I put them in a pocket or something and I didn't want, you know, in and out. I wanted to make sure it was going to hold on. And this is a little bit slippery, shiny type of stuff. So anyway, I think they came out really cute. I think you can see them all. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them, but it was fun doing it. It didn't take very long at all. Just, you know, basically, I didn't cut the wings apart or anything. I just left the whole butterfly together and picked out people that I thought they looked good on. So very fun to have wings on people there. Little fun project. And then I told you last week I was going to experiment with my time cards. I have some time cards in my shop now. So what I did was I made all these little kind of booklets and journaling cards. And so these are journaling cards. And I cut one, like, this is how long they are. They're pretty long. So I cut a couple in half, and I made little journaling cards, and I used some of my coffee dyed letters. I aged and distressed around the edges of these time cards and the letter piece with, I did use, you know, some vintage photo, but I also used a brown Sharpie. So, you know, sometimes I use a brown Sharpie if I want a little bit more darker effect around the edges. So that's just something, if you've never done that, you know, just get yourself a brown Sharpie and use it for some of your distressing. I like it. That's what I used here, and I think it turned out really pretty, and it makes a really good, you know, kind of outline. It makes it stand out a little bit more. So this is, I did that on all three of these. I used a little piece of lace on there for layering, and my little word cards that I made, they all say inspire. So, and then the inside is blank for journaling. So some of them I wrapped the paper around. This one didn't really have any paper wrapped around, and this one did have a little bit of paper wrapped around. So I think they came out really cute. And, you know, something to stick in a pocket in your journals and use for a journaling card. So that's that one, those three. And then on this one, I made a little booklet out of just this, you know, another half of a journaling card. I started out the same way as I did those, but this one I added made into a booklet. So I just put some little pockets on the inside covers. Sewed those on. They're book page pockets. I mean, you can use any kind of paper you want. I just kind of was going for that natural look. Maybe to put this, I'm probably going to put this in that journal I made that I showed last night, that I showed the pages last night. So let's see, so I used book page pockets. I put a little vintage label here. I made some tags for the pockets. And I have finger holes here, and then, you know, little baker's twine right here, and then I just stamped a hummingbird on one side, and then the other side can be for journaling or whatever someone would want to use the tag for. And then the same thing in the back, another little journaling card. This one all my Manilla folder or file folders are recycled. They're from work, and they're, you know, files that are getting ready to be thrown out. And some of them have, I was throwing away pieces with writing, and then I figured out, you know, I'm trying to figure out ways to cover up the writing so I don't have to throw it away. So that's what I did here. I covered up just a little bit of number there with some book page and did a little stamping of a hummingbird there. So, you know, I think it looks nice. It's vintagey looking and distressed it. So I think that came out cute. And then again, you can journal on the back, and that's in that pocket. And then I did have some coffee dye cutoffs, as I usually do have some in my scrap pile. So I made some pages with those and sewed those down the middle, and then I left a little string here. So I think it came out really cute. And I want to make a couple more things with the time cards this week. I have a couple more ideas that I'm going to be trying, and I think it's going to, if what I have in my mind, if I can get it to work, it's going to be really cool. So we'll see. I'm going to try that this next week and see how that comes out. So let me see. Let me finish up on the time cards. These I haven't cut up yet, but I wanted to try layering some napkins. I just wanted to go for some color. I took the top layer of napkin for these, and I wanted to be able to see through, so that's why I just used a napkin, you know, the one layer, and I just tore it and then glued it on. I used a glue stick because I didn't want too much glue and too much, you know, with the with Mod Podge. So I just smeared a glue stick all over here, tore the napkin, and put that on here. And I think it came out really pretty. I like it. I don't know if I'm going to cut them up, fold them in half, and make something out of them, but I wanted to show you the whole time card with the napkin and how pretty it looks. You can see through, you know, you can see how you can see through. I put little pieces of lace on each one. This one I have a button and the word inspire up here, and this one I have the inspire here, and then there's a couple layers here with some of the letter, piece of the scrap of the letter, my coffee dye letter there, the lace and the inspire there, and then they're blank on the back. I did use the brown Sharpie around the edge so you can see how that looks and with distressing. And so I think these came out really pretty, and I don't know if I'm going to cut them up or fold them in half and make booklets or what, but I'll figure that out later. And then the other thing I showed last week that I told you I was going to experiment with is these library card catalog cards. I did the same thing with the napkin, the distressing, and so you can see how they came out. They came out really pretty, and I wanted to be able to see, because these card catalog cards are cool because they're old and they have the different shades of, you know, patina, I guess you could call it, and they also have different fonts on the letters or the words that are typed on here or printed, however I don't know how they made library cards. I don't know if they typed all that out or what, but they have different fonts, so I think that looks really cool, and I wanted to be able to see that. So you can see that through the napkins. I have my inspire word on all of these, a little piece of lace on this one here, and a piece of lace on this one here with a vintage button. So, and again with the brown marker around the edge. I think that looks really nice on these, and then they can be journaled on the back or whatever someone might want to do with them. So I think those came out really pretty. I really love how those came out. And then I was going to show you this with some of my coffee dyed letters that I showed last week. This is an envelope I made, and I think it came out really pretty. I just kind of tried it because it has the torn edges. I think it makes it look really old. And I put one of my words here, and then just sewed, used brown thread to sew all the way around, even on the flap. So, and it just kind of almost looks like, I don't know what, leather or something. It's paper, of course. But I think it came out really cool, and it's got the coffee dyeing on, you know, the inside there. So just another idea of what you can do with, you know, if you coffee dye some letters, you can make envelopes, and they look really cool and old. So that's that, and now I think I'm almost done. I've got 2 more things to show you real quick. Now this is something I saw on Pinterest. I saw this a long time ago, and I totally forgot about it. It's something I wanted to try, and I just, you know, I just forgot because I look at so many things, and that's why I write things down now in my little book. But I saw it again this week, and I thought I'm going to try this right now before, you know, I don't even know if I wrote it down, but I'm trying this right now. So I stopped. I had this envelope at work, and what I did was carefully, if you're going to do this, just carefully remove the flaps so you don't tear anything. And then you are turning, what you're doing is basically turning it out inside out. So I removed the flaps, you know, turned it around. This was the inside of the envelope, and these are all security envelopes. So I turned it around and then just glued the flaps back on, and this is how it came out. I think it's really cool. This was just junk mail, and I think it was junk mail, and yeah, this looks like junk mail. I'm trying to see what it was from, but anyway, that pattern was on the inside, so that is really cool. And then it has the, you know, the flap, the ceiling flap, and everything. So an idea to do with your security envelopes. And then I did some more. Unfortunately, with these, I had cut the stamps off because I save all my used stamps. So I had to just cut them down evenly here because I had a big chunk taken out for the stamp. Well, I just cut the top part off and turned these inside out, so you can see how these came out. And I can still probably figure out something to do with these too, but this is the different patterns. This one was from Staples, Office Supply, so that's the inside of the Staples envelope. And then this one was pretty too with this pattern, black and white. That was on the inside. So, you know, the different security envelopes have so many cool different patterns. So just something fun to do and something easy if you wanted to have a little easy craft that is quick and easy. And the last thing I have to show you was something I have never done before, was work with a zipper. So I made this zipper pouch this week, and the reason was because I have these zippers that I got in a bag of sewing notions at Goodwill, and I've never, you know, worked with zippers. I don't sew clothing. I just do like craft projects type sewing. So, but I wanted to figure out, I was wondering, can I figure out something to do with these zippers? Because I didn't want them to go to waste. So I was thinking, can I sew paper onto a zipper? And I thought, well, if you're unzipping a zipper on paper, if you keep unzipping and zipping it, it's probably not going to hold up. It's not going to be strong enough. So then I thought, well, can I sew a zipper onto cardstock? So that's what I did. I just took 2 pieces of file folder, and just say these are file folder right here. So I took, of course, they're this shape, but just pretend like these are this shape. And so I just took the zipper over to my sewing machine and placed it in between the 2 pieces of file folder. I sewed it on, and then so I said, okay, that worked good. And at the end, actually the zipper was too long. Say this is those two pieces and the zipper went way down here. So it was too long. So when I was sewing, you know, I had the this little part here, say was up here. And the part that was too long was down here. So what I did down here was just sew across several times, back and forth, until I felt like it was strong enough. And then I took it when I was done and cut the zipper off, and it worked perfectly. I'll show you, see right here. This is where I sewed right here across, back and forth. You can kind of see it. There's extra thread there. So then I had this, and I was like, okay, that looks good. I like that. What am I going to do with it now? Because I did not plan to make a zipper pouch. I was just experimenting. So I said, well, this is cool. Let me just see if I can make a zipper pouch. So I had the zipper sewn in, and then I just put the two pieces together, and I sewed, you know, I had my zipper here, and then I sewed the rest of the way around. So that's how I came up with this. And so it was all sewn together, and then I decided, well, I need to decorate it. So I took a couple of my coffee dyed letters and ripped them apart, aged them, and just glued them on. So that's how I came up with this. I think it's really, really cool. I love it. And what I want to do now is make different sizes. So I have, I don't know how many zippers, not that many, but maybe about 10, maybe 9 or 10. So I'm going to experiment with making these zipper pouches with the file folder in different sizes. I think that would be cool because this one's kind of long. And like I said, it was just an experiment. I didn't know what I was doing. But I like how it came out. I did the same thing down here where I sewed, when I had the two flaps out, I sewed back and forth here so I could secure the zipper on both ends really well, and then, you know, the rest is just how it is. So as you can see, it no problem zipping it up and down. It does end right here. So I don't know if I would maybe make that a little tighter next time. I don't think it really matters. So I'm not, you know, an expert sewer or anything, but I think it came out really, really cool. And I think, you know, I think it would be cool to have some of these to stick in a journal, or, you know, whatever you want to use the zipper pouch for. So, and it's just file folder on the inside. There's lots of room in there to put some pens and pencils and whatever, some little ephemera that you want to keep for your journal. So I'm going to make some more of those in different sizes, and I'll come back with that next week. And that's all I have to show you tonight. I hope you enjoyed all my little experiments this week, and I'm going to come back tomorrow and do a final flip through of that journal, you know, that I showed you the pages last night. So I'm going to finish that up and get that final flip through done for you tomorrow. So I will see you all tomorrow. I hope everybody's doing great, and have a great weekend if I don't talk to you. And just thank you for subscribing. I know this is the end of the video. I should have said it at the beginning, but I wanted to say thank you to everybody for watching. So have a good night, and I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye-bye.